Hey everybody. I know I haven't uploaded in a while, but I really want to get back into it. And since it's almost Halloween, I thought this would be the best time to do it. I hope you enjoy these stories. I am a 21-year-old female, and I need your advice ASAP because I think somebody might be about to do something to me. So basically what happened was, on a Saturday afternoon, I was hanging out with my friend downtown. It was an ordinary day off. We spent a few hours shopping on the boulevard, and when we started to feel a little tired, we decided to get some food and eat it in a nearby park. It was warm, so there were lots of people outside. We were enjoying our food and kept ourselves entertained by talking about random things and people watching. Most people looked normal, but there was one man that stood out. So he became the main topic of our conversation. It's hard to explain how or why, but I felt a very strange feeling when I was looking at him. He was wearing boots, light wash denim jeans, and a puffer coat on a hot summer day. But that's not what made me feel that way. Something about him was just off. I couldn't quite pinpoint what it was, though. He was Asian, quite short, probably around 5'8", and a little chubby. He was kind of dressed as a homeless person, but I don't think he was homeless. Probably poor, but not homeless. He had around 1-inch long hair and a thin teenager-like goatee. Nothing too unorthodox. As I was looking at him, it dawned on me. The reason why he looked so abnormal besides his warm clothes was the look in his face that I noticed only once he was a bit closer to me and my friend. His face is hard to describe, but it'll never be erased from my memory. His skin was badly damaged. It was the kind of skin damage people who work in coal mines all their lives would have. He had kind of a deadpan look in his face, but not in his eyes. I can't even describe what I felt when I looked into his eyes. It felt like my heart jumped up and down 3 times. I felt a wave of agony and torment overwhelm my body. We made eye contact only for a split second, because truthfully, it was impossible to look into his pain-ridden eyes for any longer than that. I felt miserable for him, because I can't even imagine what life he must have lived to be giving off these vibes. As time went on, he kept lingering around the park, which also felt weird, because he just kept walking around the park at a slower pace in strange patterns with his head down, occasionally glancing at nearby people. During this time, there were a few instances when our eyes met again while I was observing him, and each time, I tried to look away as fast as possible. Me and my friend kept making up theories about who could he be. She thought he was either a junkie or a crazy person. I was convinced that he's just extremely poor. After about half an hour, he did what I feared the most. I knew it was stupid to keep staring at him after the first time our eyes met, but for some reason, I just couldn't keep my eyes off him. At this point, he started heading straight towards the bench me and my friend were sitting on, with his eyes locked on us. We exchanged nervous looks and tried to stay calm, because neither of us had any clue about what he planned on doing. It felt like the time was passing 10 times slower until he finally stood just a couple feet in front of us. This time, he looked extremely nervous and shaky, but the energy in his eyes remained unchanged. The emptiness in his eyes must have been apparent to everyone who looks at them. I wouldn't say he looked intimidating, but his presence was unsettling. Visually, he gave off hints of craziness. He had a look of a paranoid schizophrenic and was really twitchy. Both me and my friend were frozen, but neither of us said anything. After a few seconds of initial silence, the crazy guy blurted out a soft, "Hello." Me and my friend replied, "Hi," at practically the exact same time, and our tone of voice was as nervous as his. After a short pause that followed the greeting, he stutteringly asked us, Are you enjoying yourselves?" To which we both replied with a short, "Yes." He had an accent, not thick, but it was there. I guess my assumptions were right then. He seemed to be getting increasingly nervous and kept asking us more and more questions about what we did today. However, his eyes were locked on me the whole time. I felt as if he was aware of the presence of my friend, but purposely ignored it. One of the questions he asked us was if we were locals, to which we also replied, yes, which was probably the first mistake I made. But at this point, I still didn't quite know who I was dealing with. Things got even weirder, because he just started bombarding me with really personal questions about where I live, where I go to school, where are my parents from, and so on, to which I tried to give only non-revealing answers. It seemed like his nervousness reached its peak, and he just said, "Okay, bye," and left just like that. Me and my friend were so weirded out that we decided to leave the park and head to a cafe about 10 blocks away from the park. Who the hell was that guy? And why was he even talking to us? It was definitely really creepy. We got to the cafe, ordered some bubble tea, and started chatting. We almost forgot about the man, but not for long. After some time, I looked out the window into the street, and suddenly, there he was again, standing across the street, just staring at us. When he saw that we noticed him, he instantly walked off. Seeing this weird person again terrified me and my friend beyond belief, so we decided to head out to my place to feel safe. The sun began to set, and we definitely didn't want to be outside in the dark after these two creepy encounters. We got to my place and decided to watch a movie. After the movie was over, my friend called an Uber and she left to go home. Not even 2 minutes passed and I got a notification. It was a message from my friend. I thought she must have forgotten something, so I opened the message and it said in all caps, "The creepy guy was down the street from your apartment. I saw him out of the car window." That message made me panic a little, but not as much as it should have, because I was in a strong denial. No way he could be near my apartment after 3 hours, since I saw him in a totally different part of the city, I thought. I told her that it was probably just someone else who kind of resembled him, but she swore it couldn't be anyone else. I still didn't want to believe her, but I should have. I went on with my life, and the man hardly popped up in my mind, but a few days later, I saw him again. This time, it was at the bus stop when I was on my way home from school. He was standing across the street, slightly hidden behind a small crowd of people at the opposite bus stop. When he noticed that I saw him, he walked off very fast and cut to the nearest corner. The exact same thing occurred again after 2 weeks at a bus stop in a completely different part of the city. After this, I decided to inform the police about it because I was so creeped out, but they told me they can't do much with this information, but they'll give me a call if they find someone who matches his description, so I could confirm that it's him and file a restraining order. But of course that never happened, because the cops here are pretty useless. In the following months, this kept on happening maybe once or twice a month. During this period, I was living in the deepest fear one could imagine. It might not sound like it would be a big deal, but when it's happening to you, it's really freaky. And the way that he only showed up once or twice a month actually made it worse, because I didn't know if it was over or not. I didn't know what to think. Is he just scaring me for fun? Is it some psycho stalker that fell in love with me? Is he just mentally challenged? Does he want to kill or rape me? Is it all a coincidence and he just freaks out when he sees me? I tried to find an explanation for this situation to feel better about it, but all I did was make up all kinds of stories in my head, and none of them had a happy ending. I felt empty and hollow every single day. I was waking up feeling more tired than I was when I went to sleep. I was like a walking zombie that couldn't even pay attention to what other people were telling me, because I was thinking about this man non-stop. He and the fear I had for him became my life. It was my only reality. I was afraid to leave my own apartment, but I was also afraid to stay at my apartment because I feared that one day he'd just barge in and murder me. My life turned from a typical college life to a life of never-ending terror. Not an hour went by that I couldn't think about the possibility of something bad happening to me. This experience really changed my outlook on life and made me appreciate every second because I thought he could end it all at any time. But then, just as fast as it began, it ended, and I stopped seeing him around. This whole situation happened 2 years ago, and it lasted for a few months. After the last time I saw him, it took me a while to repair the damage this terrifying man had caused me, but I managed to do it and got back to living my happy life. But deep down, this man was still with me. I knew he would haunt my psyche until the day I die, but I learned to live with it, because after all, it was over, and knowing that pushed me forward. It became easier and easier after every month I didn't see him. But then, the unthinkable happened. I found out that it wasn't over. I saw him again yesterday. And that's why I'm writing this. Because I need advice and don't know what to do. The cops said there's nothing they can do. I'm not big enough to fight him, and in my country, you're not allowed to carry a gun or a knife for protection. So I have no idea what to do. It's been almost 2 years, and the man is back. This time, I caught him staring at me through the window of a restaurant I work at part-time. Now he knows how to find me. He has me again, or maybe he never even lost me. Maybe he was stalking me this whole time, and I just didn't notice him. Because all I could notice was my own fear, and it made me miss the thing I was actually fearing. I don't even know anymore. But what I know is that now, I'm in the same agony and torment I saw in his eyes the first time I saw him. It's like he infected me. I don't know if I'll ever see him again, or if he'll barge in as I'm writing this. All of this unknown is killing me. Only thing helping me cope is expressing my feelings in this thread, but that's just a short distraction. I'm just afraid that this time, he'll actually work up the courage to do whatever it is he's been wanting to do all along. Me and my friend went to a local shisha bar not far from my house. It's my group's favorite spot, and we go there almost weekly. We knew all the staff and most of the customers, because new people only come there rarely. We sat down, ordered shisha, drinks, and started talking. I sat with my back to the wall, so I was able to see the whole place, and my friend was sitting opposite of me. I realized that there was a guy behind my friend, and I knew for a fact I had never seen him around here before. He seemed odd, because he was sitting there and smoking shisha all alone. He also had this angry look, but he didn't look intimidating, even though he was pretty big. He looked more like a loser who's probably mad at the entire world for not having any friends. And really, only a loser would go to a shisha bar alone anyway. During the conversation with my friend, I noticed this strange guy was constantly staring at me, and it was really distracting. He was just staring at me with the same facial expression and blowing smoke the whole time. When I looked into his eyes, he would never break eye contact. So after maybe 15 minutes of slowly getting more and more creeped out, I waved at him and snapped my fingers to get some sort of a reaction. He dropped the shisha hose, pulled a bill out of his wallet, slapped it on the table, and left the place. It was bizarre. It looked like a scene from a really cliché movie, but we just laughed about it and told the owner that the guy just put the money on the table and left. We stayed there for 2 more hours until we decided to head back home. I totally forgot about the guy by then. I came home, took a shower, and then I took my laptop to bed. I was browsing the internet when I suddenly heard a loud bang on my window. It scared the hell out of me. It sounded like someone threw a ball at my window or something, so I decided to go take a look. I started approaching the window, and as I was nearing it, a man in a ski mask suddenly popped up from the side. I screamed and he just took off. Since he was wearing a ski mask, I couldn't see his face, but I'm convinced it was the guy from the shisha bar. Judging by his body type and the experience at the shisha bar, it had to be him. I grabbed my baseball bat just in case he planned on breaking into my house, and I called my friend and explained the situation. I went over to his place because there was no way I'd fall asleep at my house. When I came home the next morning, I saw a pink tennis ball on my lawn. I picked it up and it had, "You're dead," written on it. I threw it into the trash, but it took me a good month to forget about this guy. I have no idea how he found me. He must have hidden somewhere outside the shisha bar and then followed me home. And what was the point of leaving the tennis ball? Was it just a prank, or was he actually planning on doing something? I hope you enjoyed those stories. If you have a story you want to submit for me, you can email it to me at mrhockeymaskinbox.gmail.com.